Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary. This is your host, Scotty B. Friends. Cosplay Traps is what we're talking about this week as we round out the season. Well, maybe we don't round out the season, but certainly the standard content. We've got about 3 more episodes to go this season. And yeah, we really consolidated a lot. One of the cosplay traps are that you don't. How does and I really did think that this was like an interesting thing to talk about this year on the Something Strange track that we're on for season 5, is that there are traps in cosplay. There's traps in everything, but we're just talking about cosplay here because that's what the show's called. How does it trap you? First of all, it's the fame monster traps you. You are chasing something. You are chasing the fame monster or some version of it, right? You are trying to stay relevant in this space. You're trying to get validated in this space. We've talked about validation in earlier episodes, feeling the good and bad of it, that dopamine hit every single time. The brain shuts off more and more of those receptors when you hit the dopamine so that you have to get a stronger one, and it gets addictive, and it only comes from this. Now, like, there's a lot of things that go into this. You can watch other podcasts that talk about it. I'm not the expert. But chasing the fame monster, chasing fame, chasing the relevance, chasing the likes, trying to continually post and get more people interested in what you're doing, that traps you in what you're doing. We all crave attention. We want to be social. We're social creatures. We desire companionship. We desire people to validate us. But cosplay doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be that forum. It can be about you. It can be about what you want to do. It can be about making the content that lights you up, that makes you feel good about what you did inside of the community and with other people. That keeps you away from that trap of going, well, if I could just create more videos that could go viral, if I could just be a little bit more funny, if I could just do this and just do that, and I could just spend more money and get more boosted posts out there and get more and more and more and create the videos and go on these videography excursions and go to these exotic locations where people can see all of the things that I'm doing and see all of these beautiful shots that I've taken, and I can be relevant. But I'm going to have to keep doing it because it's not just going to be once. It's going to be over and over and over again, and it traps you. Also, don't set traps. Don't entrap anyone. Don't be the guy or the girl who baits and switches and calls it a hustle. Like, you don't need to bait and switch people. You don't need to go to a con to con people into giving you things. You don't have to lie to people. You don't have to gatekeep people. You don't have to be a gatekeeper. Quite literally, don't set traps as a cosplayer. Do not be that person. It's not good. Maybe it's easy to do, especially if you can vet the newer people, but that is really not a good space to be in. You do not want to be outed as the person who baits and switches. You do not want to be outed as the person who goes behind other people's backs and spreads rumors about them in the cosplay world, things that are not true. And definitely don't be that person who says the things and then when they're confronted and say, oh, yeah, well, maybe I should just go and talk to that other person that you're talking about. And they go, oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that because of all the things that they're going to do to me. And like, ooh, don't set those traps. Just don't be that person. Like, there's so many other ways to go about your business. There are so many other ways, like, really just produce the content. Just make the content and then just think about what you want to do with that. Like, get yourself out of whatever pickle that you're in. Get yourself out of the space that you think makes it impossible for you to continue to create, and go create. You just have to be excited about it. You don't have to keep everyone else from doing it. Who cares what they do? You don't have to care. Like, there's so many, they're only getting 2% reach too. Like, it doesn't, Instagram doesn't care if it's you or them. Like, it doesn't make any difference to Instagram. It doesn't make any difference to Meta. It doesn't make any difference to TikTok. Like, what you produce, you think that there's that they're like zeroing in on you or that you're doing something wrong. Well, no, you just need to like figure out what you want to do. This is all free stuff. The less free it gets, the easier it gets for the user, but the more expensive it gets. So don't let cosplay trap you. Do not set traps yourself, and avoid the traps. Don't support somebody unless you can really afford to support physically, mentally, environmentally, financially, whatever. don't support them. And definitely, if you're not like, there doesn't have to be a give and take. There doesn't have to be you're looking for something in return. Like, that's the problem with that. If you're supporting a cosplayer, which many people do, everybody has their Amazon list, everybody has their, get me stuff. And that has its space, but don't expect much for that. These are just normal people, and they're looking for ways to pay for a hobby, albeit potentially not the best way to go about paying for a hobby, but that they are. Okay, so yeah, you can do these things. Hey, make sure that you do it the right way. If you're asking for money and you're being supported by businesses and or individuals, that you report that stuff. So be careful with how you support. Like I said, if you can't afford four of anything, don't get it. Don't buy unless you can afford, right? That is the truth. Do not wreck yourself with likes. Do not compete for likes with money you don't have, with resources you don't have. Do not spend money on cons if you do not have it. Do not carry a torch for your friends, for your collabs. Don't devalue yourself. Don't do it. Friends, if there's anything that you do it for yourself first. Make sure you pay yourself first. Don't give so much to everyone else in the community that you no longer enjoy anything that you're doing yourself. Now, I don't see it a lot, but I know that it can happen. I've heard stories about all these things going on. There are skills you need to build in your own life first, as a cosplayer, supporting cosplayers, as a show, bringing people on to endorse them, to spend time in this space. Just be careful. It is a trap, and it's an easy one to fall into because emotional buys, because that's what cosplay is, right? Like, we buy the costumes because we are attached to the fandom and we have an emotional connection with the production of said fandom. That's why we're doing all of this, because we like it. So yes, the money gets spent easier because we like it. So if you like somebody, no matter what they are for real, you're going to want to support them. So it is a trap. Cosplay can trap you. Don't set them yourselves, and avoid the big traps of support and affording cosplay. And that's what we have today, folks. Thanks again for being here, watching the show, clicking the like button, writing the comment, and of course, subscribing to the channel, because that's what this is all about. If we are going to continue to do things on the YouTubes, we have to have people who want us to do things on the YouTubes. I don't mind talking to myself, but it's always nice when you can get an audience to buy in to some of the things that you give them in support and as advice, and as a space in the cosplay community to share your stories and all of those tips and tricks for the audience. This is Scotty B with the Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary saying bye-bye, everybody.